Walking alone teaches you something that no classroom, no book, and no mentor ever can. It teaches you how to become your own anchor. It teaches you how to survive, and more importantly, how to thrive without leaning on anyone else. When you walk alone, you begin to understand what it means to rely on yourself fully, without a safety net, without applause, and without someone constantly reassuring you that you're on the right track. Most people are afraid of being alone because they equate solitude with weakness. But let me tell you the truth, solitude is a strength. Walking alone is not a punishment. It's an invitation to meet the most powerful version of yourself, the version that doesn't need validation, the version that doesn't break when people walk away, the version that learns to navigate pain, fear, and uncertainty without being carried. When you walk alone, you're forced to make your own decisions. There's no committee, no group chat, no one to turn to and say, "What do you think I should do?" It's just you, your instinct, your gut. And that's where real leadership starts. Real leadership doesn't begin when you get a title or a following. It begins when you learn to lead yourself. You see, when you're alone, there are no distractions. There's no one to point fingers at when things go wrong. You can't blame the team. You can't blame your environment. You can't even blame the past. It's just you and your choices. And that's where your personal responsibility muscles start getting built. Every step you take, every mistake you make, every win you earn, it's all yours. That's how confidence is built. That's how you start to believe in your own ability to handle whatever life throws at you. And it's not just about confidence, it's about resilience. Because the truth is, life isn't always going to be fair. People will leave, plans will fall apart. Things you thought were secure will vanish overnight. And if you haven't learned how to stand on your own, you'll crumble. But when you've walked alone, when you've gone through the dark without a flashlight, you learn how to adapt. You become unbreakable. You don't just survive storms, you grow in them. Now here's something most people miss. When you walk alone, you also learn what's real. You learn what your values are. You learn what you're willing to fight for. You learn what you truly want. Not what society told you to want, not what your friends are chasing, but what actually matters to you. That kind of clarity, it only comes in the quiet. It only shows up when you're not distracted by the noise of everyone else's opinions. Walking alone gives you time. Time to think, time to reflect, time to evolve. And in a world obsessed with speed, likes, and constant validation, time is your greatest asset. It's in those quiet moments that breakthroughs happen. It's when you're alone with your thoughts that your next idea, your next move, your next chapter reveals itself. Don't get me wrong. Walking alone doesn't mean cutting everyone off or isolating yourself forever. It simply means choosing to be self-led. It means being okay with not having a crowd around you. It means knowing that you can support yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and that even if people don't understand your journey, it's still worth taking. The people who achieve extraordinary things are the ones who were willing to walk alone, to take the road less traveled, to keep showing up even when nobody noticed, to bet on themselves when nobody else would. You don't need an audience to move forward. You just need courage. You just need discipline. You just need to trust yourself enough to take the next step, even if you're taking it alone. Because here's the truth. When you walk alone, you stop being a follower. You stop being someone who waits for the world to give you permission. You become the kind of person who creates paths, not just follows them. And that kind of person changes everything. So if you're walking alone right now, don't rush through it. Don't wish it away. Let it shape you. Let it grow you. Because when you come out on the other side, you won't just be stronger. You'll be unstoppable. Clarity is one of the most powerful tools you can ever have. And the truth is, you won't find it in the noise. You won't find it when you're constantly surrounded by people, opinions, distractions, or the never-ending scroll of everyone else's lives. You find clarity in solitude. You find it in the moments when everything is still, when it's just you, your thoughts, and the silence. That's where the real answers live. When you're always in a crowd, when you're constantly reacting to what others think or expect, it's hard to hear your own voice. It gets drowned out. And that's the problem. Too many of us are living lives built on what other people want for us. Parents, teachers, friends, social media, they all have opinions. But when do you stop and ask, what do I want? That question is uncomfortable. It's quiet. It takes guts to sit with it. And that's why most people avoid it. But clarity never comes from chaos. It comes from getting still. When you walk alone, when you give yourself permission to pull back from the noise, something incredible happens. Your mind starts to clear. It's like a fog lifting. Suddenly, the things that felt overwhelming start to make sense. You begin to see the patterns in your behavior, the relationships that drain you, the habits that hold you back. You start to notice what energizes you, what excites you, what feels aligned, and what doesn't. And all of this awareness. That's clarity. That's insight. That's the foundation for making better decisions. Think about it. How can you build a meaningful life if you don't actually know what's meaningful to you? How can you chase a dream if you haven't taken the time to figure out what you even dream about anymore? Most people are so busy trying to keep up, trying to fit in, trying to not fall behind, that they never pause long enough to ask if they're even running in the right direction. Walking alone gives you the chance to stop, to reset, to breathe, to realign with your values, your goals, and your truth. And here's something else. Clarity isn't loud. It doesn't come in the form of some lightning bolt or huge epiphany. It comes in quiet nudges, in the stillness of a walk with no music, in the journaling you do when no one's looking, in the thoughts that rise to the surface when you're not trying to distract yourself. That's when clarity whispers, this isn't that dream still matters. It's time to let go. You're stronger than you think, but you have to be willing to create space for those whispers. You have to give yourself permission to disconnect, not forever, but long enough to reconnect with what's real. That's the power of walking alone. You're not just getting away from the world, you're getting back to yourself. Let's be honest, though, it's not easy. Solitude can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to constant noise. You might feel anxious at first. You might want to reach for your phone or text someone just to fill the space. But if you can sit with that discomfort, if you can stay with it instead of running from it, you'll discover something powerful. The discomfort isn't a signal that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're getting closer to truth. Clarity always asks for courage first. And once you start finding that clarity, it changes everything. You begin making decisions that align with your purpose, not your fears. You stop chasing things that look good but feel empty. You start choosing relationships, jobs, environments, and goals that match who you are becoming, not who you were trying to be for other people. That's freedom. That's power. That's the kind of alignment that can only come from within. So don't be afraid to walk alone. Don't be afraid to slow down, pull back, and get quiet. In that space, you will hear the truth you've been trying to outrun. And when you hear it, really hear it, you'll know what to do next. Clarity is already within you. The stillness is just how you find it. Not everyone is going to understand your journey, and that's not just okay, it's expected. One of the hardest truths you have to learn when you're growing, evolving, and stepping into your purpose is this. People will misunderstand you. They'll question your choices, they'll doubt your direction, they might even laugh at your vision, and that can be painful. Especially when the people who don't get it are the ones closest to you, your friends, your family, the people you thought would always support you. But here's the thing, they're not supposed to understand, because your path wasn't built for them, it was built for you. You have to stop expecting other people to see what you see. They weren't given your dream, they weren't handed your calling. They haven't felt what you've felt or endured what you've endured. They can't feel that fire inside you, that push that keeps you up at night, that whisper telling you there's more, that drive that refuses to die no matter how many times you've been knocked down. That calling is personal. It was placed in your heart, not theirs. And because of that, you cannot wait for people to validate what they were never meant to understand. Too many people waste years of their lives trying to get permission from others to be who they already are. They hold back their ideas, their goals, their next move, all because they're afraid someone won't approve. But if you keep needing other people to understand before you move, you'll never move. If you keep trying to explain your dreams to people who have no vision, you'll start doubting yourself. And that's where dreams die. Not because they're impossible, but because you believed the wrong voices. You've got to be willing to walk forward even when the people around you look at you like you're crazy. You've got to be okay with hearing, "That doesn't make sense." Or "Why would you do that?" Or "Are you sure?" Because they're speaking from their level of understanding, not from your level of vision. Don't shrink your path to fit someone else's comfort zone. Growth will always look like risk to people who aren't growing. Change will always look like confusion to people who are committed to staying the same. And here's the truth. Some people won't just misunderstand your journey, they'll resist it. Not because they're bad people, but because your courage exposes their fear. Your progress reminds them of their stagnation. Your willingness to evolve challenges their decision to stay the same. That makes people uncomfortable. And when people get uncomfortable, they criticize. But that criticism? It's not a reflection of your worth. It's a projection of their insecurity. Don't take it personally. Let it fuel you. The more you grow, the more you'll feel the gap between where you're going and where some people choose to stay. That's normal. That's growth. And no, you don't have to cut everyone off or turn your back on the people you love. But you do have to protect your energy. You have to guard your vision. You have to be okay with outgrowing certain conversations, certain mindsets, and yes, sometimes even certain relationships. Because when you're building a future that doesn't look like your past, not everyone can come with you. And listen, it's lonely sometimes. It hurts to feel misunderstood. It's hard to explain a vision that's still being built. It's frustrating when people don't see your potential. But here's what I want you to remember. You don't need them to get it. You don't need them to clap. You don't need them to believe. You need you, your belief, your focus. Many people ignore that voice because it's quiet or because it doesn't make logical sense at first glance. But intuition is a form of wisdom that comes from your own experiences and feelings. Walking alone gives you the space to tune into that wisdom without interference. Self-trust grows each time you show up for yourself. When you make a promise, whether it's to get out of bed early, to stick to a goal, or to say no to something that doesn't serve you, and you keep it, you're strengthening that trust. Every small act of integrity adds to the foundation. Over time, you stop doubting yourself because you have evidence that you can rely on yourself. That's powerful because it means your confidence is built on real, consistent action, not just wishful thinking. Walking alone also teaches you to be patient with yourself. Trust isn't perfect. Sometimes you will doubt. Sometimes you will falter. Sometimes you will wish you had someone else to reassure you. And that's okay. Building self-trust is a process, not a destination. It's about coming back to yourself again and again, even after setbacks. It's about forgiving yourself for mistakes and choosing to try again. Another important part of trusting yourself is owning your feelings. When you're alone, there's no one else to process your emotions for you. You have to sit with them. You have to feel them fully, whether it's fear, sadness, anger, or joy. Trust grows when you stop running from your feelings and instead say, "This is real. This is part of me." That emotional honesty helps you understand yourself better, and that understanding deepens your trust. When you walk alone, you also learn that self-trust isn't about being isolated or disconnected. It's about knowing that you are whole and enough on your own, but that you can still choose to connect with others from a place of strength, not need. When your foundation is built on trust in yourself, relationships change. You stop needing others to validate you or complete you. You start to choose connections that add value to your life rather than fill holes. The moments when you have no one else to turn to can feel scary, but they are also the moments when you become your own hero. You learn to make decisions with courage. You learn to stand firm in your values. You learn that your voice matters, even if it's just your voice, and even if no one else hears it at first. That kind of trust is the bedrock of leadership, of success, and of freedom. So if you find yourself walking alone, remember this. Every step you take is a chance to build trust in yourself. Every challenge you face alone is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are capable. Every quiet moment spent listening to your inner voice is a moment of connection with your deepest wisdom. Self-trust is the gift that walking alone gives you. And once you have it, there's nothing you can't handle. Freedom is one of the most precious gifts you can experience, and walking alone is often the path that leads you there. But freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. without consequence or living a reckless, untethered life. Real freedom is deeper than that. It's the freedom to be yourself, fully and unapologetically. It's the freedom to make choices that align with your values, your passions, and your truth, regardless of what anyone else thinks. And the truth is, you can only find that kind of freedom when you're willing to walk alone. When you're constantly surrounded by people, by expectations, by opinions, it's easy to get lost. You start making decisions based on what will please others, what will keep the peace, or what will help you fit in. And that's a slow way to lose yourself. You might have heard the phrase, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But there's a hidden truth in there too. Sometimes, to really go far, you first have to go alone. You have to walk a path without anyone holding your hand, without